Hello, so I wanted to do a follow-up video about Erwin. A few people have been asking me questions about him. I think this might make a great topic for a video. I did talk about him when he first released, kind of had my first impressions, but we now know more about like how his abilities and stuff work, because I wasn't sure like at the time. I wasn't lucky enough to get him, but you know, a few people have like posted about him on Reddit and stuff, so we now know how his abilities work. So if we go here, let's go to featured, if we can go find... Here he is, so Erwin, the Life Stealer. So he has his unique skill, the Spellcraft Spellbook. This reduces the MP cost, and SP costs damage, increase the damage dealt to enemies. It's the same spell attack as the previous action selected. So this one, what it does, this is just a flat, like if you cast the same spell again, it's a flat minus 2 MP plus 10% damage bonus. And this is probably better than it looks in that if you are like fighting a boss, it's not uncommon to be casting like say Pharaoh 4 over and over again. Like you'll be casting the same spell multiple turns in a row. Like if you have, like, say, Blessed Vigor rank 1 on him to use with Mental Unity, so Mental Unity lasts 3 turns, so you would use Mental Unity, and then, say, Pharaoh 4. First time it's normal, then the next 2 times you'd cast it, it would have that minus 2 MP cost, and that plus 10% damage bonus, so that'd be, like, 4 MP savings, like, every time, like, in a long boss fight. This could potentially be, like, 12 to 16 MP saving on a longer boss fight. So it's not necessarily a bad skill. It's kind of a narrow skill in that this is pretty much only going to be useful in boss fights. Like there's not going to be too many times where it's going to be that relevant outside boss fights. There might be some fights that are longer fights, like say maybe a Cyclops or something, where you need where you do take multiple rounds to kill something. So it can be like a little bit of savings, and you know, getting like an extra 12 MP in a boss fight is going to be one more spell to cast, so it's not nothing. And again, the extra 10% damage, I think, is the more relevant part, because, like, you know, instead of doing 1,000 damage hit, you're doing 1,100 a hit, right? So that's, and again, it's also stacked with other multipliers, such as Alice's. Here, he's neutral, so he can benefit from Alice, Lanavel, or Elise's bonus. So it's not bad. Like I said, this is actually not bad, but it's pretty narrow outside of like boss fights or like bounties and stuff. Like this is a main place where this will be relevant, or maybe like super tough enemies like Cyclopses. And then he has his discipline's actually perfect. He has a great discipline, which is MP and magic power, that's exactly what you want on a mage, so that's fine. But his Flame of Gluttony skill, this one is interesting. So it's MP cost 12. It does fire type damage to 1 enemy. Damage is increased for more enemy. The more enemies there are, damage reduced. So learned by some other Erwin. Cost 12. I'm not 100% sure, but I think its base damage is probably equivalent to probably Holito rank 3. Like its base damage, but it gets a bonus for more enemies on the screen. It's like a per enemy bonus. Like the bonus increase. Like if there's 1 enemy, he gets a bonus. If there's 2 enemies, he gets another bonus that increases. And I've heard that if there's like a large number, like 4+ enemies, the bonuses start getting even larger. And so this one is actually kind of a bad skill in that you would, most of the time, like when you have a group of enemies, you want to use an AE spell like Lahalito on a mage, but there is exceptions here. Like this is where this skill shines, is again going to be on boss fights, but a lot of boss fights, like in the current post game, and this also applies on the bounty targets, like a lot of bosses, they summon enemies, and because they put exact gimmicks of them, like the Seal Demon, right, you have to, like, he will summon, like, greater demon stuff, like, at certain points, and you can't kill them out of order because he'll just summon more of them. So you don't want to kill the greater demons he summons before killing him, because otherwise he'll just summon more greater demons. So there is a situation where you might have, like, 3 or 4 extra enemies on the field, and you want to just focus on the main greater demon, right? This is the kind of fight, those are the kind of fights where this shines. There's the same thing, there's also a bounty, a greater demon bounty, where his gimmick is if he starts with a bunch of lesser demons in front of him, and if you kill those lesser demons, you make that fight a lot harder, because the greater demon will start summoning other greater demons. Whereas if you don't kill the lesser demons, you just focus all your damage on the greater demon, he'll only summon lesser demons. So it's like, and there will be like 9 enemies in that fight pretty much the whole time. So this spell would really shine that fight. Same thing with this Cyclops. The very final bounty is a Cyclops that sometimes attacks his own allies. It starts with 3 Succubi and 2 Chimeras, and the gimmick with that fight is to not attack like any of the other enemies, like let the Cyclops kill them. So you start with 6 enemies on the field, and this skill is going to be great in a fight like that because you're going to get those damage bonuses. Like this is where it's good. Again, this is a boss, pretty much a boss only skill. In theory, it could be useful versus Graham's Necrocore, but in my experience with mages, I found more success just spamming law spells. Like he does summon more buddies, but it's just better. Like it's just you reduce more damage by trying to crowd control than trying to just focus damage on him. You could focus, and maybe Erwin would be good to just focus and let other mages do law spells. But I'm a bit more skeptical on that. But this is going to be great. This particular skill is great for Syl Demon, the Demon bounty, and the Cyclops bounty. This is good for those 3 fights specifically. With the new Abyss coming up, there might be more fights that kind of gimmick, because they seem to like that gimmick in this game, where you have to kill things in a certain order. So, like I said, if you can't just kill all the enemies and then focus on the boss, you can't clear the trash, right? This is where that skill shines again. Pretty much only useful in bosses. Both of these are pretty much boss-only skills. Like, so he's kind of a boss slayer. He's also fire type. The next dungeon is probably wind based. Again, we don't know for sure, but just based on what we know, it seems like it's probably wind based. Like said, and so he is potentially really interesting. Like as a legendary though, like as a limited legendary, he's gonna be all the caveats that apply to limited time legendaries. I think if you want a fire mage, I mean honestly, we have Asha right here. Like I think Asha is probably better. I've actually not been too impressed with Asha, honestly. But she does pay priest as a second class, so it gets access to all the priest spells naturally. And Erwin currently doesn't have a class change. He probably will at some point. What that class change ends up being is another question. If it's if it's priest, that'd be fine. Knight would actually be pretty interesting because knight passives are so good on mages, and the only mage that can also be a knight right now is Eldorado. Like Eldorado's a really good character, but it's hard for me to really recommend Erwin because we don't really know what the next Abyss is going to be, and by the time next Abyss drops, Erwin's probably not going to be available anymore, so that is kind of the caveat. But I do think if you want a fire mage, like Asha is a much safer choice right now. Erwin's abilities, like I said, he is essentially a boss slayer focused character. Like he is focused on his abilities all say I'm good versus bosses. Like that is pretty much it. Like these skills, they're so narrow outside of that. Most of the time, like with Erwin, you're gonna want to like level up Faru. You want level 3, level 4 Faru on him. That's gonna be your main your bread and butter damage spell. Like pretty much Faru 4 is, like I said, for most of these characters like Asha, that's my bread and butter spell. You can level up Faru with Yarmil dupes. Use Yarmil, level this up. It's 13 MP at level 4 with Way of the Mage rank 1. Level 3 is only 10. Like if you can't, like I said, it only takes 4 Yarmil dupes to get to level 3, and then like another 5 to get to 4. 4 is kind of the sweet spot on these kind of spells. Like the higher level mage spells, they really aren't worth casting above level 4 most of the time. Like I have level 7 on Kathrine for Meagal, which you get from Flute.
If you have time,
pretty much never worth casting at level 7. Like the mana cost, look at like mana cost 26. Like it starts jumping pretty significantly after level 4. And the damage increase isn't even that great. Like level 7 is only 50% more damage than level 4 and is over twice the mana cost. So level 4 is kind of a sweet spot for those spells. So for Erwin, you're probably going to be mostly casting like Pharaoh 4, but even like Pharaoh 3 if you don't have 4 yet. That's going to be your main bread and butter spell. The Flames of Gluttony is going to be a very specific skill. Like the times where it's good, it's going to be really good. Like I said, those certain demon fights, like that, the Syl Demon could be good. The Demon Bounty is going to be really good. The Cyclops Bounty will be good. And again, the Spellcraft Bookmark, like this can save you probably, like this will probably, like in a longer boss fight, will probably save you like 12 or more mana points in a single fight. Which is good to cast, which is going to be enough to cast another Flame of Gluttony or another, like, Pharaoh rank 3. Anyway, not too much more to say on this one. They did just post a new trailer for the new Abyss. I did a full video about that, which you can find down below. As always, thank you for watching.